Well, hello there, adventurers. I'm noted halfling adventurer Yvgen Yute. I was just about to begin my lesson on the history of Xata. Xata is the largest of the 6 continents of the planet Afterware, which lies on the material plane. Our lesson begins with the appearance of a man who would become known as the Grey Emperor. His appearance, clad in mithril plate armor, marks year 1 of the Xatan imperial calendar. As the man whose face would remain hidden for all time began his assault on the tundra of southern Xata, he quickly took land and gained men to his cause, conquering the whole of southern Xata in less than 3 years. As he marched north, the burgeoning kingdoms rose to meet him, with a 10-year war breaking out, and only ending when the last king, King Roderick Rorik, knelt to the emperor, proclaiming fealty from his blood for all time. After the rise of the emperor, a great age of rebuilding takes place. During this great age, the emperor reveals himself to be immortal and proclaims his reign eternal. During this period, the giants of Xata also begin to disappear, with cloud and frost giants still unseen to this day. Some blame migration, others blame overhunting, while others still suggest the giants hide some secret they wish to keep hidden away from the eyes of small folk. Regardless the cause, the giants to this day are scant seen aside from small raids on caravans. Following the era of peace and rebuilding came a great age of rebellion, as the once free cities of the empire fight against the oppression of their cultures and religions. The first to rebel were the mighty dwarves of Steelhaven, and that although mighty they may have been, the war ended in 5 months, after the leader of the King's Guard beheaded his traitorous king and threw open the gates to the emperor. The bloodiest of the 3 wars was, by far, the War of the Great Wood. This war, fought between the Empire and the Elves of the Forest, was a brutal 3-year war that was so bloody they renamed the woods the Bleeding Woods. At its culmination, the Emperor ordered the death of every adult elf in the woods, cementing his place as a dictator, but forever putting down rebellion in his realm. After his bloody show at the Bleeding Woods, the Emperor's lands entered 100 years of peace, with the Emperor disappearing into solitude of his castle keep for many years at a time. During this golden age, a great council of giants, called an Ordning, met and discussed, well, something. You see, not much is known about what was spoken, but in the months that followed, many of the few giant settlements that remained disappeared, leaving no trace as to where thousands of 20-foot-tall giants even went. But as is such with all good things, this golden age ended, and ended abruptly. What began as whispers of a foul god walking on a distant continent would, over 70 years, lead to the fall of the Emperor and the Empire. In what is now known as the Spider's Trap, the goddess Loth tricked the Emperor into sending his 400-ship navy to the distant continent of Loafenstunk, before destroying the ships and 95% of the Emperor's own forces. Next, Loth launched a subterranean attack against the Emperor's seat of power, High Xata, cutting off the Emperor from his banners to the north. The Emperor sends a message, pleading for aid. In return, he receives a single message. You sit in your high palace collecting taxes that rightfully belong to our cities. May your keep be your grave. Long live the free cities. You see, the lords of the cities knew that if they banded together, they could man the great walls that separated the north and southern Xata. They could hold back Loth, or the Emperor's forces indefinitely, securing their place as free cities. And this brings us to the current age, the age of free cities. And as it is, when a power gap emerges, The cities have fought half a dozen or so wars over resources or territory, and the elves even attempted to regain their lost territory from the Hodozi. But nothing is so impactful in recent history than what is known as the Great Giant Calling. You see, after the fall of the Empire, giants began slowly returning from wherever they had disappeared to. And as they returned, so did larger raids on settlements. And as those increased, the cities decided to take action. Banding together for the first time in their history, the cities launched attacks on every known giant stronghold. In the end, hundreds of giants were killed, and the remainder stayed hidden to this very day. Yes, every age has its wars, its heroes and villains. In fact, if you have the time, I could tell you about this group of recent adventurers. You see, it all started with the return of